Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. And our guest today is Vitali Karpeichyk, the co-founder of PigPug, and that's an AI telemedicine brain training platform for kids with ADHD. Добрый день, Vitali.
Добрый. Hi guys.
So I understand right now you are in States, right? And your company is basically transferred, or you registered a US entity, I understand, right?
Yeah, we did register in Delaware C Corp in United States.
Was it easy process, as they say?
Yeah, it's quite easy. There are a couple services called Clerky or Gust, and in our you can have a entity in Delaware, and it's a gold standard in startups, we could say. And if you want to run something in the United States, probably you should do a Delaware C Corp.
Mm-hmm. And immediate questions: how long? How much? How long did it take you to set up a company, and how much you paid overall, like overheads and all that?
Yeah, like it takes a couple weeks to receive a certificate of incorporation, and it costs like $500 or something. It's not so much.
Wow, easy sell. Okay,
Yeah.
Vitali, let's move back to the company and the solution. And as a quick warm up, the company is trying to tackle the ADHD, kids suffering from ADHD. And I understand ADHD. You could say this is the sickness of the civilized world in a way, right? And do you agree with this, or is it just that this like Western country, or let's say advanced countries and economic development, have more tools and resources to diagnose? What's your understanding?
It's a both because in the United States we have like a good diagnostic, and there are a lot of kids with ADHD and later with autism. And there is some prediction. We could say that until 2025, we will have like 1/3 of kids with diagnosed ADHD. But there are a lot of kids who has never been diagnosed, but they suffer. And one of these kids, previously I am. The story has begun from that I'm realized that I've had ADHD, some form of dyslexia actually, and like autism since 6. And I realized it in 34, and I decided to help kids with ADHD to overcome this.
You know, it comes to me as a little bit natural by now that very often dyslexia, dysgraphia, or similar, should we call it disorders, for lack of a better word, very often are symptoms of a different way of thinking in a very positive way, meaning like very often out of box or kind of non-traditional type of thinking and mentality, like structure overall of a person. Would you agree with this as well?
Yes. Yeah. Kids with ADHD and have very, very powerful mind, very, very powerful brain, but they don't know how to handle their brain, and that's why like one of the opinion that we have ADHD because brain is too powerful, and we need to teach our brain to how to use it, and our solution is a nature way to teach our brain to concentrate, to meditate, to be relaxed, etc. Yeah, there is no any like a developmental delay if we have ADHD. It's opposite. We have like powerful brain, but we have to handle it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? While preparing for this podcast, basically, what I came up with very interesting fact that ADHD was first mentioned in the beginning of 20th century, 1902 or so, and by who? By a British pediatrician whose name was Sir George Steele. When you compare the ADHD and what it stands for, like fidgety, always in movement, and kind of lack of control and so on, that was an interesting irony.
Mhm.
And one last question, I have to ask this. ADHD, you would say, is a genetic condition, or very often it's a result of the, among other things, of diet or social economic kind of environment a kid lives in, and more specifically, chemical substances present in candies and modern kind of age food that we are eating.
Yeah, there is no one opinion in scientific world what is the reason of ADHD. My personal opinion, this is because there are a lot of information right now in a digital world, and again, my opinion is that um, kids uh, kids don't have to use their cell phone until like 10 years old. It's impossible, but their brain should grow in a like in a nature in a nature, and yeah, uh, a lot of times kids, let's say, destroy their brain using all of this digital gadgets, smartphones, laptops, etc., etc. And there are a lot of adults with ADHD because they don't use their brain properly, constantly checking emails, like social networks, and we have to learn how to use our brain nature and properly, and we could avoid a lot of issues with our brain.
Yeah, okay. Just to say, so that's a combination, and very often this is the result of a well-engineered kind of attention management, right, by the coders and app producers and so on and so on. They have their own
Exactly.
interest, and very often this interferes with the brain, with normal brain activity, so to say. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's awful when you could, like somebody said recently, that very often you can see a kid 8 to 10 year old, and they are already bored with the life just because they saw all of it in a much better kind of shape, and more colorful and more dynamic and all of that. And real life is just boring. This is awful. And
Yep.
moving on to the solution itself, you know what, Vitali, I think would be a good idea to start with a couple of slides from your pitch deck
Yes.
that you recently used. Let's switch to a couple of slides there and just go through some visuals. So, Vitaly, we are on your pitch deck and the slide about treatment. I understand you are trying to show the evolution from purely medication-based treatment to the
Mhm.
solution that you want to introduce. Okay, so take the floor.
Yeah, we are talking right now about US market, and in US market there are three main, let's say, strategies to treat ADHD. It's a medication, it's a psychological intervention, and neurofeedback. Neurofeedback divides in a classic neurofeedback and wearable neurofeedback. And we could we could say that like 95% right now in a treatment in United States is a medication. And two main medication is Ritalin and Adderall. It's an amphetamine group, and it's let's say not so good to take these pills from 6 years old, and because it's a real drug.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized it, that I have ADHD in 34, my PCP, this is my doctor, just said to me, no questions, please go to pharmacy and you'll be prescribed like Ritalin. After I did Google, I realized what is it, and decided to try something different. And there is an error feedback, but in New York, we have to go to the office to put some weird wired helmet on your head and work with in a clinic or in the office, neurofeedback office, like 1 hour and go home. This is 1 hour traffic to the office, 1 hour traffic back from the office. And our solution based on neurofeedback, but it's a telemedicine platform. You could work from comfortable chair from home. And this is very, very important for kids because you could work with your mom. Mom could make adjustments during the session.
Mm-hmm. Vitali, one question. What is this neurofeedback technology? If you could explain it in a couple of sentences to somebody who doesn't know exactly.
Yeah, neurofeedback technology based on EEG. EEG, it's electrophysiography. Yeah, and we read brain signals and transform it with a level of attention. It's possible. It's well-known technology. And we know, for example, how concentrated you are, the kids is. And we show it. It's a neurofeedback. It's a feedback. We show it on the screen for the kids that you are concentrated right now, for example, on 40%.
Okay. And
something happened in the screen. And when we ask for kid to concentrate more, this is something, for example, moving up or moving down. And we could say that kid control physical object using their brain. And that way kids teaches their brain how to concentrate. This is the first skill we need to achieve. The second skill, even in the name, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Attention deficit, this is one symptom. Hyperactivity, this is second symptom. Sometimes kids have both these symptoms, sometimes one of them. And the second skill we have to teach our brain is how to relax, how to meditate. It's also possible to get to read EEG. And we know the level of relaxation. And one of our competitor, let's say competitor, the headset called Muse. This is especially for meditation, for meditate person. Yeah, this is how neurofeedback works.
Okay, interesting. And basically what you want, what like your innovation is based on neurofeedback loop. So you diagnose the level of attention or level of concentration, and then you enforce the positive feedback, and then you say when it's not successful. So the kid understands when he or she is doing something that helps increase level of attention, and then repeat this over time, and that's what you say, training, right? Training of the brain, basically. Okay, let's move on. So this is what you explained, right? So this could be, you mentioned this is telemedicine opportunity as well.
Yeah, and what's the point of our platform? You will buy a headset, for example, on Amazon, connected to the internet. You could choose a neurofeedback practitioner on the other end of the line and work with your neurofeedback practitioner. And it's gonna be like we are right now in Zoom. Neurofeedback practitioner will see you. You will see neurofeedback practitioner, and neurofeedback practitioner or trainer will see the brain activity, the temperature, the oxygen, and if something happened, for example, kids in a nervous condition, neurofeedback practitioner will make some adjustments, will ask something to do, and during this process, kid teaches their brain how to concentrate, and this is a positive feedback for. And the main idea to create skills as more as possible in our brain, and train them from time to time. And our kind of slogan is train your brain.
Train your brain, indeed. And you mentioned the profession as neurofeedback practitioner, right? That was the name?
Yeah.
Is it existing profession, or that's something you had to create, basically, to operate the system?
Yeah, there are like 1,000 neurofeedback practitioners in the United States. This is existing profession. But
okay. Wow.
We want to, to explore our platform to the world, and we will need to create this profession in other countries.
That's what I had in mind. It does not sound as a very popular or something that you can hear every day. Interesting. Let's move on then. So you basically described, and let's just sum up this 4-in-1 solution: telemedicine, very, very important right now. AI diagnostic and initial protocols. Yeah. Easy to use EEG headset. You mentioned these. Neurofeedback mental games. Also important, especially for kids, to keep them interested, basically, right? You can motivate adults with just being rational, and you cannot be rational all the time with kids. Okay.
Yeah. Additionally, I want to say about AI. It's not just a platform and a headset. The third feature of our solution is AI, and AI at the beginning, we want to that AI will diagnose ADHD, because right now to diagnose ADHD, kid has to answer like 50 questions in a questionnaire. It takes some time. It's not a real objective test. AI will diagnose ADHD, but later on, in some cases, we want that AI will replace neurofeedback practitioner.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
We will find like initial protocols and treatment instead neurofeedback practitioner. That's the idea.
We'll have a competition in a second. And speaking of the headset itself, what's the current status, and do you have already a prototype? Are you using these in some pilots, and are you going to patent it?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Actually, hopefully today we will send out the provisional profile application today or tomorrow. It depends on our lawyer. We will send provisional profile application for patenting of our headset, and we have been testing around 1 year on 40 different kids our protocols, and sometimes we did test our prototypes of headset. Because of we are patenting right now, I cannot show you the prototype, but yes, it physically exists, and probably on the next week we will have a big release and show this beautiful headset. You will be surprised. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, amazing. Wish you all the best of luck, of course, with this patenting process.
Thank you.
And keep us in touch as well. Please check our website on ITKey.media. You know what? As far as market size, just a quick glance. So you mentioned these from SOM to PAM, and right now you are focusing on New York market, I understand, right?
Yeah, we will start from New York, and we want to bite a bit from medication market. We understand that it's, take a pill. It's always easy, and to work with your brain, to pump your brain in a natural way, it's much more difficult. But it's just a habit, and our goal is to use our headset and technique as more persons as possible.
Yeah. To have natural fitness of the brain rather than temporarily induced normality by some medication or chemicals in the brain. Okay.
Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah. As far as business model, that's interesting. So B2B partners would be insurance companies and clinics. Yeah. And then B2C direct sales. And subscription for app and platform $99 per month, and headset itself, I understand, planned right for the beginning.
Yes.
$199. Okay. I have to ask about the name PigPug. There must be some story behind the name. Can you share this with us?
Yeah, it was a lot of thinking how to name the company, and because we do our solution for kids, and we did try to find some animal who help kids to live the better life, to overcome their difficulties, and at the one moment, organically, we found this kind of animal with a face of the pig, with the face of the pug, and the rest of the body of like a pig. Yeah, and that's why since the time we are PigPug. We are thinking right now about the adults solution, and it's going to be different name, of course.
And look, my immediate Google search shows a dog race as PigPug. Is this true, right?
Yeah, a pug is like a, let's say, type of the dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Now, look, interesting. Of course, I understand you are not marketing this as yet, like as paid, just because you need patent before you market this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as the roadmap, you are now in the market, I understand, for next investment round, right?
Yeah. As soon as we have a patent, actually next or 2 weeks from this moment, we will start the WeFunder. It's a equity crowdfunding campaign, and on WeFunder we will start our campaign to raise our seed, because we have a classic way, family, friends. We have a pre-seed on accelerator, and right now it's a seed round on equity crowdfunding campaign. I just want to say, maybe we have listeners. We have like a startup founders as listeners, and since March in United States, there are new regulation rules, and it's much more simpler to raise money using equity crowdfunding, not just a regular crowdfunding, but equity crowdfunding up to 5 million, and a lot of simpler features as it was before, since March this year.
And then you can maintain the control of the company much more than you would with
exactly.
Sometimes it's good, but sometimes you want to rely on your VC experience and contribution and so on. But the experience is mixed. That's true, especially at seed fund. And Vitali, let's move on to next round, and this is a competition. So you put yourself somewhere in the upper right hand corner, definitely. Who would you say is the closest, most interesting, let's say, competitor from those you mentioned here?
Yeah, when we did start, we have like 3-4 competitors actually.
Yeah.
But right now it's a boom of neurofeedback devices. There is no exact focus on kids with ADHD and autism on these devices, but there are a lot of devices right now, a lot of neurofeedback, and we could say about Neuralink of Elon Musk. But who is focused on kids with ADHD is a MindLift. We could say they have a platform. They use Muse as a headset. Yeah, we could say that MindLift is a main competitor.
Okay, just because they focus the same clients. Okay.
A lot of neurofeedback solutions for different groups of people, for sportsmen, for adults, for meditation, but almost exact the same focus as a MindLift.
Yes, Vitali, thanks. That was pretty all-encompassing, you could say, overview of the company. Let's move on to round 3, quick Q&A. You're a busy, startup founder, co-founder as well. What is your most effective productivity hack? And again, specifically not a tool, but rather productivity hack, like the way you do, the method that you apply to your everyday activities.
Don't read the morning news. Just
okay.
Just start from your morning routine and start working, and read your emails closer to the minute of the day, because fresh brain is much more productive in the morning, and you could do more in the morning and rest at the day.
Paraphrasing a little bit, don't allow external agents to influence your own agenda, right? Don't adjust to their agenda. Do your agenda first, and then amazing. It's such a simple wording, but I'm a sinner myself in this respect very often. I understand.
We're all the same boat.
And I thank you so much for this. Let's move on. Round 4 company, founded more or less 3 years ago, I understand. And so there are founders, Vitali Karpeichyk, yourself, founder, CEO, a serial entrepreneur, and one of the companies that I understand your previous company, Nito, was acquired by AOL, right? Congrats for that. That's probably a topic for a new separate podcast. Andrei Pyachenko, co-founder and a neurofeedback expert, and you have a whole array of wonderful advisors as well. But how many people you are now as far as full-time employees in the company?
Full-time employees around 7.
Yes, and how would you say, what is the division of labor in the team? How much are like scientists? How much are coders? How much are on the front line looking for clients, partners?
Yeah, we have a balance within the team. We have developers, we have scientists, we have a lack of marketing, but we will feel it soon, because for example, in case of founding, I'm a tech guy. It's also a classic story. Andrew is a neurofeedback guy, more, let's say, humanitarian guy. And the lack of experience we have covered by our advisors. Almost on all direction we have an advisor, and actually after this meeting we will have one more meeting with our advisor, because right now is a lot of preparation for WeFunder campaign.
So let's say let's send best regards to Juan Ricardo Diaz, Giles Lowe, Andrew Sokol, Will Cardwell, and David Miles, I understand. So let's move on to round 5. Last but not least, of course, Formula F3, as we call this. And this is funding for the future. So by now, correct me if I'm wrong, the funding was around $250K in a note from Accelerator in Minsk, Belarus, and own funds, like friend and family, I understand. I understand you managed to avoid fools. And your next round, you mentioned already that this is going to be an equity crowdfunding, targeting US, I understand, market?
Yes, correct.
Yes, and the amount you are targeting also was, you mentioned, what, $1 million, more or less. So how long you plan, this investment keep you going? And what are the goals that you want to spend this money on?
Thank you for this question. We plan to use this money during 10 months. We want to create the first 100 headsets to manufacture it, not to manually assembled, to manufacture it, to complete our platform, and to complete the development of our AI, like let's say version 1, and start selling our solution.
And would you focus first B2C or B2B channel?
It's a very good and difficult question because we not well known right now. We want to partner with a clinic or insurance companies, and insurance companies hopefully will provide our solution as a third party. For example, if person comes to PCP to the doctor, and if insurance covers our solution, doctor will say, please, if you don't want to use a medication, please try that. It's a pretty common practice in the United States, and yeah, hopefully we'll partner with one of the insurance company.
Okay, amazing. And it sounds pretty simple for me as an outsider that probably people would prefer more often non-medication based solution. Vitali, I wish you all the best. I know you have to run to your advisor board meeting, and wish you all the best with the equity round, equity funding, investment round, and then success with the program, with the product, with the design. Let's keep in touch, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for this interview, and stay safe.
You're the same. Thank you. All the best. Bye.
Bye-bye.